bear the weight of black people, especially ones in their constituency, or are they supposed to be universal representatives of all the people in their constituency?
So, so when I was watching the podcast, The Breakfast Club, Pearson made it very known and very clear that he represented the 86th district of Tennessee. He said it, he referenced Memphis, Millington, Shelby, Forest, and Harbortown. So we already know that those are, different, I would assume, counties or towns within his district. But also Tez, the lady that was interviewing him or questioning him during the Breakfast Club, also mentioned that it was like 60% black or whatnot. Now, obviously, and you brought this point up from previous conversation about when you're a public servant, your job is to serve your community, right? So it's a dicey one because his community is like 60% black. So,
and it's also subjective of who you believe your community is, and that may differ from who it actually is. And that's, I guess, the disconnect of what we expect from our black politicians versus what reality is for them a lot of times.
So, I mean, and also to that point, I think it's different so what the public servant does have to their advantage or whatnot is the fact that they have the ability to be visionaries. So the fact that he's in a position of power and influence, he has the power to change policies or implement policies to benefit the community. The future for him could look different than the future of the community. So like if he wants a community that, let's say he wants to diversify the community to where it's no longer 60% black, he wants to like invite people, other ethnicities, other races to become a part of a project. I'm just making up something.
Yeah.
But become part of a project or that vision that he sees to make the community better. You know what I'm saying? Like to where it would benefit, a
larger span of people.
Yeah. But to answer the question, should black politicians bear the weight of all black people when it comes to making policies? I think it's already incorporated in that, like in the job description. So I'm probably more from the standpoint that he already bears the weight in
by default.
Yeah.
I understand that. I think there is an expectation from what I would see the black community at large of having some responsibility as a black politician to implement things, especially in your own community, not at a federal level, but at a community state level, to implement some things that are focused on that ethnicity. So I don't necessarily see that as something that's too far fetched for a politician to understand. I do think there's a disconnect if our politicians, as Justin Pearson kind of stated, that he's not viewing it like that, and the expectation is that we are expecting that as a black constituency to see black reform. Now, if we're not seeing eye to eye, I think that kind of puts the support of black people for black politicians in jeopardy. Which again, I think Justin Pearson kind of spoke to when he said that the large percentage of people at his rally were white people within his district. Which again, like you said, 60% of that district being black is a misrepresentation of who is actually there and who his constituency is. So, I think that disconnect on the expectation kind of diminishes the support that black people actually have for their politicians, especially in their communities.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The fact that although the community is 60% black, but the percentage of people that are actually coming out to support him may look different. Therefore, it could alter his plans in a sense, to cater to the people that are actually possibly going to vote for him. I don't know all the statistics, so I mean, I'm just saying, hypothetically, if those are the people that are just as active as they are in their voting, and they're just as active in their protesting.
That's a good gauge, I would say.
Yeah. Then yes, I think for someone like him, that is pro-black. He in the podcast, well, not podcast, but
their morning show.
Yeah, the morning show. He talks about he wear dashiki and had the old afro.
Yep.
So I mean, it's very interesting to see and to see it unfold going forth. Whether he's going to get reinstated or whatnot, whatever that's going to look like. But it's very interesting how someone in his position has to navigate in those terrains, in those communities, especially where, especially in a community where the statistics goes against the national population, where obviously white people are, the dominant race. In terms of numbers, not the white power or white supremacy thing that people talk about, but just in numbers.
Yeah.
But I think this is
yeah. I mean, I think when you talk about it's difficult for him to navigate. He's likely at these rallies where there's a large white turnout and maybe not the largest or most representative black turnout. He's engaging with the ground. The ground level, and if it's not particularly representative of the black community or the black, needs or black reform at large, then it's kind of not useful for black people for him to serve black people, I guess you could say. So I guess that kind of leads us to